Alright guys, today I'm with Tom. We're going to take a look at the new STIGA Perform 40 Plus plastic ball. So the older generation of plastic balls use a material called poly. These new balls use a material called ABS.
So this new ABS material will obviously have a slightly different feeling. So we're going to test the roundness, hardness, the durability and the general feeling in match play and gameplay with these new STIGA balls. I think the last few years the transition between the old celluloid balls and the new plastic has been quite hard. I think players in general have been struggling with the quality and the consistency, and a lot of balls cracking and breaking. So we're really hoping this new ABS type ball used by STIGA here and obviously other companies is going to be an improvement and a more consistent even ball.
So in this review we're going to test this new ABS material in comparison to the previous poly balls and also compare it to the Ntaku Premium and the new DHS ball currently used on the World Tour circuit that's using the ABS technology.
So let's get to it.
Alright guys, I'm not very good at spinning the ball and testing the roundness, so I'll leave this part to Tom, the expert here. So here, Tom, let's just see how these balls are in terms of roundness. Got brand new balls here in the bucket.
That's very good. Also pretty good as well. I mean, I think in general these are a lot more consistent. Just from testing them the last few days, it seems to be, 9 out of 10, they're pretty good. Whereas before, I know in other companies, other balls, you get a few out the pack and you can have 2 or 3 that aren't great. They're not 100% round. You get that bit of a wobble as you spin it. It's probably quite hard to see on the camera, but if you're there spinning it and having a look, what you don't want is to buy a load of balls and they're not up to scratch. So these in general, I mean, there are some varying slightly better than others, but mostly...
touch wobbly, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a touch worse than the others, but I think overall in general, they're pretty consistent, really.
It's very good.
It's not bad as well. Let's have a look. Test them all, give them all a good spin. Again, that's fine.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, as well, not bad. So I think hopefully from what we've been doing there in the last few days testing them, they seem to be a lot more consistent when you're buying 9 or more balls. You want to have most of them being pretty consistent, really. What you don't want is to have a pack and you get 3 really bad ones. So I think overall it's looking pretty good.
I mean, the problem also when they're not round is they wobble in the air as well, and that's the big problem, isn't it? You try and hit a full hand, you see it wobble to you.
Yeah, you get an unnatural movement. If it's nice and round and solid as well, it's a lot to do with the hardness and roundness. You get a nice, safe, normal, clean flight of the ball, and it's just a lot easier. It's a lot more natural. Okay, so let's do a bounce test comparing the new ABS ball versus the poly ball. So the STIGA new ball is using ABS material, and the older ball is using poly. Let's take a look. So ABS on this side, poly on here. Straight away there's actually a higher bounce on the ABS material and it's still bouncing longer and the poly stopped a lot quicker. That's quite interesting. I mean, hopefully what that's telling us is that the new STIGA ABS ball is a bit more firm and it's got a good hardness and also quite uniform roundness. If it's giving that nice high bounce consistently, that's a really good sign.
Yeah, so let's have another look. So ABS is on this side. So it definitely is a higher bounce. It's more cleaner. And it stops very quickly. It's almost like a celluloid the way this carries on bouncing.
Yeah, I think it is more similar. And speaking personally, I don't know about everyone, but I think quite a few people do prefer still the old celluloid type balls. If they can make an ABS plastic ball with similar characteristics to the old celluloid, I think people will really like that.
Off the camera there, me and Tom quickly just tried the Ntaku Premium versus the Perform. We had surprising results. Check it out. So if you look here, they're both pretty much identical in bounce and consistency.
Yeah, very, very similar. And obviously these are both using the new ABS material, and I think that's what we really like. Hopefully now, if all companies are starting to use the same material, we're going to get a lot more consistency between brands as well. So at different tournaments when you're using different balls, hopefully it's still going to be fairly even, a lot less of a change between different balls.
Definitely. Let's take a look at how the ball performs and feels. So I'm doing some foreign top spins. So I'm getting a lot of speed here. So what I really like about this ball is I'm going to get a lot of speed. I always find with the older plastic balls, sometimes I've got to use a lot of effort to get the power. With these new ABS balls, I can stay nice and relaxed and still get a lot of power on the ball.
Yeah, I think with some of the old poly balls, especially the ones using a seam, I did feel, like Dan said, you're using a lot of effort and you don't feel like it's got that same sort of crisp contact as maybe the old celluloid balls, whereas this one does. It feels a nice crisp impact as you hit the ball, and it's got a good speed, not having to use too much effort. So let's have another look. I'm going to block with my backhand this time.
So again, I'm staying nice and relaxed, very consistent bounce and good contact.
Yeah, I think you can see there as well. It's a nice firm contact as I hit the ball, good crisp feeling, and even the sound is a nice sound. You feel like you're getting a good playing rhythm with the ball. Feels nice and easy to use, and it's got good even flight over the net with no wobble. So now we're going to take a look at the spin characteristics of the ball and how much rotation I can generate. So I'm going to use my backhand opener. It's probably my favourite shot. Try and generate a lot of spin on this in general, so let's give it a go. It felt quite good, that first one. Let's have a look. Let's just have a couple tries at the backhand spin up, serve and spin. Well, that one's quite good. I got a lot of grip and purchase on the ball there, and obviously Dan popped the block off the end. Let's have another look. Yeah, again there, the block came on, it was kicked up high because I got quite a good spin. I feel like I can really grip the ball, whereas some of the other old poly balls and ones with a seam, felt like it was a lot of effort to get that spin, whereas this ABS ball, I feel like I could really grip into it and brush forward and get a lot of spin quite easily, which is a really nice feeling.
I'm definitely feeling that spin as it comes off the bat there. It's kicking off,
yeah.
Definitely getting a lot of spin.
It's got quite a nice, like a bite feeling to it. You feel like you're really sinking in and getting that heavy spin.
So just leading on from Tom talking about the spin there, I like these balls because from away from the table, you're getting good amount of momentum and spin. It doesn't drop to the net easily. That's one thing I do like about these. Because of the flight, see how I get a lot of forward momentum even when I take the ball late. So these balls, with the ABS technology and that sort of material being used, you're able to get a lot more speed on the ball, and that's definitely what I like here. I can stay nice and relaxed even if I'm away from the table. Ball doesn't dip to the net too easily, and I'm getting that high arc. What we're both noticing here as well is the ball's not kicking up too much. Sometimes when you play with plastic balls with the roundness, they can sometimes jump up and skip, or sometimes come through too fast. But this is very consistent with the clean bounce.
Yeah, I think that, like Dan said, it's giving you a nice even bounce. So sometimes you're getting that skid or a jump, and that comes with the general roundness and hardness. So it shows, testing these, that we are getting a nice consistent bounce, which is great.
Okay, so here I have the old STIGA poly ball. Let's just give it a try with some top spins. So it goes over still pretty well, really fast, but it's a completely different feeling with this new ABS. Definitely the ABS feels a lot more pingy off the bat, a lot more responsive. So this new ABS is definitely a higher, better quality ball than the older balls.
Yeah, I think it's certainly a lot of a firmer feeling as you hit the ball as well. Doesn't feel like as much effort to generate power. So now we're going to take a look at a quick comparison between a very popular Nitaku Premium ball and the new STIGA Perform. So let's have a quick test. So first off, the Nitaku Premium. Okay, now a quick look at the STIGA Perform. Yeah, I think in general they're pretty similar. Both got a nice clean bounce, very similar feeling, and that's obviously because they are using both this ABS material. But I think the differences are pretty minimal, both really good high quality balls.
Alright, so now I'm going to test the new STIGA Perform versus the DHS D40. So this DHS ball is currently used in major events such as the World Tours, and a lot of players are giving good feedback. Initially I can see slightly a colour variation between the two. The DHS is slightly duller, the STIGA ball is a little bit more whiter. But nevertheless, let's see the differences. So DHS D40 Plus first. So that was nice and fast, felt very similar to the STIGA ball we've been using. So here's the STIGA Perform. Again, both balls feel very fast. There's not much differences between the two. It's quite hard to tell the differences. Both have very similar feeling. Obviously they're both ABS and they feel really good, and I do like these balls a lot. Now I'm going to have a look at differences in the spin between the STIGA ball and the DHS ball. So first up, the STIGA. I'm just going to throw in some high spin and see if Tom notices any differences between the two balls. DHS.
I think, to be honest there, I'm not seeing a great deal of difference at all. Both are getting a nice high arc over the net, but in terms of differences between the DHS and the STIGA, very, very minimal. I think they're very similar in terms of the kick and spin that we're getting.
And you mentioned earlier, Tom, I think this is really good for table tennis because then we're going to have a lot more consistent games. You're not going to have to try and get used to a different ball. You know what you're getting.
Yeah, exactly. I think players were frustrated before when we were using the celluloid balls. It didn't matter what brand you had. If you got a 3-star, you knew you were getting, in general, pretty good quality in a very similar product. Whereas now, when you vary from brand to brand in different plastic balls, they can be quite different according to the type of plastic, whether it's got a seam. So I think that even, consistency between brands and the balls is going to really help players. It's going to be a lot of an improvement in the game.
Tom mentioned in the introduction about how in the past players have had a lot of problems with the balls breaking quite easily, hitting the top edges and the ball just flying in the air, splitting in half quite often. So Tom, should we have a look now and see how these balls perform on the top edge?
Yeah, let's try it. Dan's going to float one in. I'll try and hit a nice hard top edge. Dan goes and grabs it. Let's have a look. So I hit that one fairly hard on the top edge there. It was a good clean hit.
Hasn't seemed to have broke. I mean, sometimes the balls will just completely break from that, right?
Yeah, I've seen balls in the past, whether it's a seamless ball or a seamed ball. If you hit a nice hard top edge, it goes flying up in the air, and when it comes back down, it's a big split in it or a crack and it's completely gone. So if they can withstand a hard hit, I think that's a really good sign if they're not breaking straight away.
Definitely. Tom, we've obviously been practicing this ball for the last few weeks now. I have been as well, and I haven't come across breaking any, so these are definitely a great improvement in terms of durability.
Yeah, agreed. So far, I've been practicing with it, like Dan said, the last couple of weeks. I haven't actually broken any so far, which I'm quite surprised about. Maybe I've just been lucky, but I think there is an element that they are more consistent and a bit more durable, which is a really good sign, I think, especially with players that are going to spend a lot of money on buying balls. You want to know you're getting good quality for your money.
Shall I have another go?
Yeah, let's have one more. Let's try and top edge again.
It's a good skill, that is.
Not bad, is it?
No.
Let's see if that one's broke. Any cracks yet?
Looking all right.
Yeah, so far it's not cracked. Sometimes what you do get with these balls, so far we've noticed with the STIGA balls, quite often we hit a top edge, it doesn't actually crack, but what you do sometimes get is a little mark or a line, so it's not actually cracking immediately, so it's showing that the top edge is still having an effect, but it's not immediately crushing through and just splitting the ball. So that's a good sign.
So meantime, we're going to play some match play points using the STIGA Perform. See how it performs. Come on. Oh! Shot. Got it! Oh, good spin. Fed my spin back to me. Oh! As you can see, guys, we're all hot and sweaty. A lot of fun there, though, Tom. I really enjoy this ball. Very fast. I'm really liking the contact and feeling I'm getting.
Yeah, like Dan said, we've been playing with it now, giving it a good thorough test, giving the ball a good workout, and definitely, I really like it. It's got a good feeling, nice crisp contact. I feel like it's pretty consistent, and obviously we've been playing with it for a while, and like we said, we played with it a good bit of testing a couple of weeks before, and we haven't really had any breakages so far. So really promising, really enjoyed playing with the ball.
Completely agree, and like I said earlier, I feel like I can stay nice and relaxed and play my fluid shots and not use too much energy and effort, which I really like with this ball. So the ABS ball is definitely a ball to consider.
Yeah, big improvement by STIGA on the STIGA Perform.